Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. This is going to be a fun announcement video. We have made some changes, short-term changes in our home, and we just wanted to share those with y'all because it's going to be a big part of our upcoming life. So if you're new here, my name is Katrina. I am a military wife, and we have 8 children, and we are a homeschooling family. I love to cook and teach, getting back into exercise. So y'all just follow along, and I'll let you know what's going on. Okay, so the kiddos are outside playing. The back door is open. Y'all know how that goes. They can be loud sometimes, but I wanted to sit down and talk to you about these next few months as we are getting really close to leaving the mainland. And you know, if you've seen our other PCS prep videos, you have seen that we have done a lot of organizing, a lot of planning, and it just made me think, I guess. I was just sitting here one day and I thought to myself, wow, okay, we're gonna be without anything for a few months. So now we've done this before, but it was not with 8 children. We did it with 3 children. Wyatt was a year old. So the last time we did this, Wyatt was a year old, and that really wasn't that big of a deal because we secured housing pretty quickly when we got to Germany. But that is not the case when you move to Guam. And when we moved to Germany, we secured housing off base very quickly, like within the first week that we moved there. And we lived off base for about 6 months before a house came available on base. But in Guam, you are required to live on base unless, you know, time passes and they deem it that they will not have a place for you, and then they will allow you to go off base. During that time that you're waiting for a home to become available, you are living in the hotel on base. Well, we will be living in the hotel on base. Some people are put in hotels off base, but we will be living, thankfully, in a hotel house. It is a house on base. And but we have no idea how long we are going to be in that temporary lodging. Right now, we have our temporary lodging booked for 30 days, and he has tried multiple times to reach out to housing, make sure they have all their paperwork, and to give us an update on whether or not we will be getting a house whenever we get there. But the rules in Guam are a little bit different. From what we have heard, you don't get an answer to that question until you're actually on the island. So we have no idea when we'll be moving out of the temporary lodging and into a house. But even so, when we move out of the temporary lodging and into a house, if we accept a house, you know, on base, we will still have no furniture for months. So for 4 months, we will have no furniture. Our unaccompanied baggage shipment will arrive a few weeks after we get there, but that is just like pots and pans, sheets, our cots that we'll be sleeping on. We won't even have a table to eat on. So, at first I wasn't really thinking about it in the way that, we're going to have an empty house. Or if we don't have an empty house, we will still be living in a hotel, a very, very cramped temporary lodging. I mean, it is a house, but it's only a 2-bedroom house. So it's going to be a very, very small. It's one of the houses that was first built on the island for the base. So it's very, very small. And we will be either there or in an empty house for 4 months. So as we started talking about that situation, a few things came up. We will not have a car for at least 3 months. And so we are pretty much going to be stuck with whatever we can find to do. And so we had to start talking about the reality of that. And let me tell you what we came up with. So we were outside. I decided to come out here because it feels so much better. And the kiddos are just hanging out. And he's playing with the water. So we did a lot of talking about the season of life that we are in right now, where we are picking up and moving to the other side of the world. We are moving to another country. We are, leaving our home, our friends, our family, all of those things. And I just really didn't want for us to get there and just be cooped up inside of a small space every day for months. Like, I don't know why I didn't think about it before, but just thinking about it now, that's just not something that I really think that any one of us is going to enjoy. So we started talking about some of the options that we had of, maybe we could rent a car, or, he might purchase a vehicle when we get there. But none of that really, we also were looking, we have looked at houses off base, but again, you have to be approved to go and live off base. So that's not even a guarantee. So we're really hoping that we will get a house on base as soon as we get there. But then the thought of that, being in a house all day long with no furniture, that just doesn't seem very appealing with 8 children. So we talked about the kids finding some activities to do during the day. And that's really not something that is readily available when you don't have transportation. So, we can't join in with the local homeschool group because we can't drive to meet up where they are. And unless I do rent a car, and that just doesn't seem very feasible. Usually, when you PCS to a new location, especially overseas, everything is in walking distance. And, that's what we did when we were in Germany. When we lived on base, we walked everywhere. So that seems to be the case where we're going. It's easy to walk around the base to, the various buildings that you're going to need, like the commissary, the youth center, the bowling alley. That is in walking distance of where we would be staying, or where any house would be if we were to get offered one. So that is kind of like, it has been on my mind. What are some activities that they could participate in? Well, here, let's see. Let me show you what they're doing. They're just having fun with the water hose. It is about 68 degrees outside. I guess it's hotter in the sun. But they're just having a good old time out here. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Beautiful weather.
Beautiful.
Kenzie is over there doing something in her journal. Kenzie, what are you doing?
Drawing.
She's drawing in her journal under the tree that I won't let her climb. And that's okay. Oh, our neighbor's leaving. It's a beautiful day. So anyway, we kept coming back around to one of the options, and it is something that we also did in Germany, and it is something that we also did when we first moved back here to Georgia. So this is not new territory for us. We have chosen this path before, and it worked out in Germany. Not so well whenever we got here, but it did work out for us greatly in Germany. And I think that it is going to work out really well for us when we get to Guam. So what are we going to do with these children? And what have we found to pass the time these next few months? Well, it just so happens to be that it is the end of the school year. You know that we have, well, by the time we get where we're going, I guess it'll be closer to the end of the school year. And you know that we have been finishing up our own school year that we started early, and a lot of them just will not finish their books, and I'm okay with that, because you start the next school year and it's review anyway. But then I thought, one of the options that we have is to let the kids finish out the school year in Guam, and it will get them out of the house every day. They will not have to, be cooped up in a hotel room or a temporary living facility or a house with no furniture. And so for 2.5 months, they can finish out the school year, and they can also make friends. And it will kind of give them the opportunity to get to know some teachers, some activities that the school provides, and it would be a great starting point to our homeschool journey there. Mallory, honey, you're wetting my feet. Yeah, I know, but I have socks on. So that has been what we have been talking about. Because in Guam, the homeschool students are allowed to participate in activities with the school. There's no like magic things that you have to do, like use certain curriculum or anything like that. They just they can go and participate in the clubs and still be homeschool students. And so I thought, if we just put them in school for the rest of the year, they would already be familiar with those activities that they want to pursue next year while we're homeschooling. And we had already kind of been discussing whether or not we wanted Jaxton to go to 9th grade in school. He is a very social kid, and he likes to be pushed and to have a challenge. And so it has always been in the back of our mind whether or not he would go to high school. He does well with his Civil Air Patrol, and it's just always been something that we have been thinking about. So we were already in that mindset that it might be a choice, even though I have already purchased all of his curriculum for homeschooling 9th grade next year. It was still an option. I wanted to have both options available. So this kind of like gives us an opportunity to test the waters on where we're going to go next, because this is a brand new season of life for us. When we go to Guam, we will have 8 children. When we leave Guam, we will have 6 children and 2 adults. So this is different than any other PCS we've had. So it's just been a lot to think about, a lot to mull over and pray about, and just try to figure out what is best for our kids in this season of life, Is the water cold?
Yeah. But it's a hot day, so.
It's not really that hot. It's 70 degrees now. It's went up 2 degrees in like 5 minutes. This is what I love about homeschooling, though, is that we have this whole freedom to just do whatever we want during the day. And it's a blessing. We can take our schoolwork outside, and it's really nice. But when we get to Guam, we won't have our schoolwork because it will be boxed up, and we also won't have any furniture. Oh boy, he's supposed to be napping. Okay, I had to put Tucker back to sleep. He should be napping right now. But so that is what we have been discussing, is sending the kids to school. So at this point in our life, I think it is the best choice. And, like I said before, that is something that we did when we went to Germany. And it is something that we did when we PCS'd back here to the United States. So when we got to Germany, Jaxton had been homeschooling pre-K and already in kindergarten. But he ended up going to kindergarten for a year because that's how old he was. And after he finished his year in kindergarten, he went to first grade, and then McKinsey went to first grade, and they spent about half a year in school before we took them out. And then we homeschooled for the rest of the time that we were in Germany. And then when we came back to the United States, I was pregnant with Reid, and Len deployed. So it was just best for us to send them to school. So Jaxton was in 3rd grade. Yeah, Jaxton went to 3rd grade, and McKinsey went to 2nd grade, and Wyatt went to kindergarten. And they only stayed in school for half a year. They were sick all the time, and some things went on in school that I did not agree with, and so we took them out, and we have homeschooled ever since. So public schooling has been one of those things where we understand that sometimes you need to make a different choice and pursue something different for a short period of time. And that is what we're going to do now. It will give them an opportunity to make friends, do something with their day, and It is in walking distance of both the temporary lodging facility where we will be staying, and it is in walking distance, obviously, of the neighborhoods. And so that's exactly the way it was in Germany. When we lived in Germany, the school was like right, you could look at we could step on our back porch or front porch and look right, the school was right there. You could see it. So all 6 of our older children are going to school. That includes Reid. Reid is going to be in pre-K, and so that is a half-a-day program. I don't know if he is going to be in the morning program or the afternoon program yet, but he is super excited about that. Now, Reid is also a very social kid, very active kid like Jaxton. So that is going to be a good experience for him. We did go ahead this weekend and we registered them for school. So I was able to upload all of their birth certificates, their shot records, and their test scores, because they test every year at the end of the year. And I was able to upload all of that in our PCS orders. And so now we are just needing to get a few of their shots, and we will be doing that tomorrow. So some of our kids got their shots last year to be able to participate at the youth center, but those shots are now out of date. So we have a lot of shots to get tomorrow. They also have to have TB tests done. So that is one of the things that we do tomorrow. And I know if you saw our PCS binder video, that was one of the things I said, is that we're homeschool kids and we don't need, you know, that section in our PCS binder. Well, I had to create a section for that, and I'm glad that I did, because now I have everything readily available. One of the schools, the elementary school, has already reached out to us and sent us a welcome packet and everything. Now we're waiting for the middle school to reach out to us so we can touch base with them. But that's where we are right now, and I'm feeling really good about it. I feel like this is the right choice. And I think it's going to work out really, really well. Okay, so I got Tucker back in the bed, and it's just too nice of a day to sit inside when all the kids are out here playing. So I came back outside. So I just want to give you a rundown of what this is going to look like. Jaxton is going to be finishing out his 8th grade year at the middle school. And I have already expressed to them that he is currently taking Algebra 1. I wasn't sure if they would allow him to continue to take that. We will see. If they don't, you know, that's okay. It's not going to be that big of a deal, because he takes that online at home, and he will continue to do that if they don't allow him to finish out his Algebra 1 year at school. McKinsey is going to finish out her 7th grade year at the middle school. All of her test scores have already been sent in. Jaxton's test scores have been sent in. And so we're just waiting to hear back from the middle school. Wyatt will finish out his 5th grade year at the elementary school. Axsel will be finishing out his 3rd grade year at the elementary school. Mallory will finish out her 1st grade year at the middle school, and like I said, Reid will be in pre-K. I don't know what this is going to look like next year. We are kind of just playing it by ear. There's always something flying in there at the Air Force Base. So, you know, we, Wyatt, a few weeks ago, was saying that he would probably let his kids go to school when he has kids because he wants them to have that choice. And that has kind of like stuck with me for a while. I know why we homeschool. It has a lot to do with our values and wanting to make sure that our kids understand Christ and who he is and develop that relationship. And that's much easier to do when you're at home and away from outside influence. But we still have those opportunities in the morning and in the evening to continue on doing everything that we are already doing with our faith and showing them the right way. So we have already sat down with the kids and we have talked about, certain hot topic issues, evolution and all the other crazy things that you might think would be an issue to be talked about inside of the public school system. And so that will be a continual conversation that we have with them. And they kind of know now that this is not something that we take lightly, but we are giving them an opportunity to be able to go outside of the house, have some time making friends, and but it still is going to be a time where they know that they're going to be tested. So I think it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. So if you could keep us in your prayers, that would be great. And so we have a lot of things that need to get done. On Sunday, we went to Goodwill because in the elementary school and the middle school, they do wear uniforms. So we went to Goodwill and a few thrift stores to find any kind of clothing that matched what they are allowed to wear in the schools. And we actually found quite a bit of clothing for all of them for less than $60. So we still need to buy clothes for McKinsey. Women don't usually wear polo shirts. So I'm going to have to find her at least 4 or 5 polo shirts in the correct colors for her to be able to wear to school. Probably won't find those at Goodwill. But we wanted to go to Goodwill and try the thrift stores first because this is just a 2.5 month, path here. And that's what we're working out at the moment. We don't know about next year or what we will do in the future. I'm just trying to get my kids some uniform clothing for the next 2.5 months. So I'm very thankful that we were able to find that. I prayed that God would bless our trip because I really just, I tried to go online and find new clothing and I was just like, there is no way we can spend $600 on them new uniforms, and we don't have to do that, thankfully. So I feel like that God, is with us in this, and he paved the way for us to be able to find the uniforms that we needed, because we did find I'm pretty sure we have everything that Reid needs. We don't have everything that Mallory needs, only because I would like for her to have 2 dresses. She prefers to wear dresses, and so we found a lot of shorts and shirts for her to wear. I just would like to find her some dresses. So I will probably end up going to Old Navy or Children's Place or something like that and getting her at least 2 dresses that she can wear, just because that's her preference. Axsel has all of his pants and 2 of his shirts. Wyatt has all of his shorts and I think 2 shirts, and McKinsey does have Well, we did find her one shirt and one pair of pants. Or capris, I guess. And so she's the one that's going to need some clothes. Jaxton has shorts and he has shirts. So we found all that. We found a whole lot of stuff. So I'm pretty much just shopping for the girls. So the uniforms we have almost gotten taken care of. The next thing is the shots. And so they do have to have their flu shots. Some of the kids' flu shots are no longer good. They have to have this season's flu shots. So they all have to have flu shots, all have to have TB tests. And I did not even realize that Reid never even got his 4-year shots. And he's like 5 years old. So he has to have all of those. I don't know how we missed that. I guess it was, you know, during the crazy time in our world. And so it was hard to get appointments back then. But somehow we just completely skipped his 4-month-old shots, and so he has to have those as well. So we went today and got appointments for that, and then so he will be getting his they will all be getting their shots in the morning so that we can check that off of our list. I am also waiting for the teachers to reach out to me. We got the welcome packet from the elementary school, which had their supply list. And I'm not really sure if the teachers still want all of those things that's on that supply list. So I'm going to reach out to the teachers and find out if they really need all of those things, or if there is another list of necessities that they have to bring with them, so that I can make sure that they have all of their school supplies. And I want to make sure that we also have, you know, some school supplies in our suitcases, so that they can do their homework or whatever it is they need, projects. I mean, we're not going to be on a deserted island. There's stores and things, so that won't be that big of a deal. But that's where we are right now. They all have book bags, and some of them do need new shoes, though. Kenzie got new shoes yesterday. And Axsel likes his shoes, so he doesn't want new shoes. But Wyatt really needs new shoes. So we'll be getting some new shoes for some of them. And I think that's pretty much it as far as getting them ready for school. The shots were the biggest thing, because they can't, I mean, they can start school, but they have 30 days to get their shots. And, you know, as a military family, if you're in the military, I don't know how long it's going to take him to in-process the base there. So that means I don't know how long it would take for them to be able to get shots there. So we really needed all of that to be taken care of before we get there. So I'm feeling really good about it. This does not mean that we won't be homeschooling next year. We've already had that conversation with them. You know, we're on the fence about Jaxton. As Jaxton and McKinsey, just because I know that they can start their high school career and end their high school career there. I'm kind of more open to the idea of them actually, you know, doing high school inside the school system. And also because the school system offers things that, you know, not that I can't offer, but it's harder whenever you have 8 kids at home. So like Kenzie, for instance, she really enjoys language, and they have world language classes there. I mean, it's Guam, and it is like a melting pot, especially of Asian culture. So there is a lot of language classes that are offered in the school, and she would have the opportunity to take some of those classes and actually get face-to-face interaction with people who speak that language. And again, that is an option for her to do next year while she's homeschooling as well. But this just gets her in the door to get to know some of those teachers and kind of like already have a bearing on how things work at school. So if she adds in some of those classes to her homeschool year, it won't be that big of a deal going forward. So this is really going to open their eyes also to the different things that are out there, and I'm hoping that they can become a little bit more independent in their learning, because it's just not that our neighbor is leaving. It's just not that easy for us to do that at home when we have so many of them. So I'm really looking forward to it. I really think that they're going to excel at it, and that will kind of like push us in one direction or another for next year. So that is our big announcement, that these kids will be going to school whenever we get to Guam to finish out this year and get them out of the house and meeting new friends. And so it'll work out.
Watch out, my brother's getting us. Let me just walk through the water. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so it is Tuesday, and the kiddos went today to get all of their shots and their TB tests. I was going to video it, but we were at the clinic and it was kind of hectic. It takes so long, and there were deployers coming in getting their shots, and so I just ended up not videoing it. We were going to all be taken back at once, but it took him longer to get everybody checked in, because some of the kids had more than one shot to get. So I just didn't video it. And then I thought, well, which thankfully none of them cried, so I didn't want to like invade their personal space either, so we did not video that. But they did get them. Now we'll go back on Thursday to have their TB tests read, and then they'll be done.